Type 3 humanity, this buffer category of humans, is a transition zone between type 1 humanity and type 2 humanity precisely because of the distance from the me of the psyche. This distance is in the type 3 humanity admittedly slightly bigger than in the people with the primary psychosis, type 1 humanity, but not so big as in the type 2 people. That is why the recovery from the primary psychosis cannot be complete and decisive. Type 3 people remain all their life frozen in their adolescence and maturation. Although they are not childish as the type 1 people, they are definitely not as mentally mature as the type 2 people. The concept of the person and the personality, the key concept in the anthropocentric vision of human civilization, is therefore based on the psychotic me of the human psyche. Consequently, these concepts are identical to their source, which is the unreal manifestation of psychosis. Both the individual and the entire humanity maturity should consist in gaining a proper distance from the source of the human civilization, psychoticization. The immaturity means all the consequences of not having such a distance. What consequences of the lack of a proper distance of the psychotic me of the human psyche do I mean? I mean the psychotic social relationships in which a man playing with a leather ball or a woman posing for photos earn as much in 1 hour of fun as a doctor, a farmer, a teacher, a miner for the whole month or even the year of work. The psychotic social relationship that allows a popularity contest called elections to give people the power over other people simply because those willing to rule apply for the contest and then get the most votes, whoever they are. But that's really nothing. The psychotic social relationships in which millions of people are ordered to die under various psychotic arguments in the name of quarrels led by a few people selected in these popularity contests. People without even the slightest distance to the psychotic me of their psyche. No natural catastrophe, no biological catastrophe, no war has brought more damage and tears to human civilization than just the lack of distance to the psychotic me of the psyche. I have to say something very important at this point. Now, I'm not accusing the me of the human psyche. Yes, it's an unreal me. Yes, it's a psychotic me. And it has always been so. But I am not accusing this me. This is the way we are like. It's not our fault. It's not our fault that the evolution has led our species from the misfortune of the anxiety to the psychosis that the nature had launched as an antidote to the anxiety. It's not our fault that me of everyone's psyche without exception, that the me of everyone's psyche without exception, I emphasize, without exception, that this me is psychotic, fictional, unreal, that is simply not there, that it exists only in the symbolic realm that man calls the mental, psychic, or spiritual realm. It's all not our fault. So where is the fault? fault, as far as any fault may be, there is no fault. Is a man suffering from his delusions or hallucinations guilty of having them? He or she is not guilty. The help is needed, not judgment. Help with what? That's it. There is a need to be helped to distance oneself from the psychotic concepts, from the psychotic me, whatever the nature may be of the concepts, that we have to distance ourselves. And what is the difference between a man with the uncontrollable psychosis admitted to a psychiatric hospital, often against his will, and you who are listening to my words and perhaps thinking that the other is not normal? And you, are you normal? Now, if you listen carefully, you probably already know. That poor man in the hospital, and you are a poor man. Both of you have a psychotic me of the psyche. Psychotic that is having no access to the truth about life, about the world, about us. Both of you have the unreal me of your psyche, because this is the only way it is. And this is the only me of the human psyche that can be unreal. Well, there is one reason you differ from that unfortunate person kept in a psychiatric hospital, and more often than not, especially at the beginning of the stay in a solitary confinement or even tied to his bed. Oh yes, there is one detail that makes a great difference. You are listening to me, sipping your favorite drink, and maybe even listening to some nice music in the background. The man is agitated and screams frothy before the sedative takes effect. What's the difference? There is a difference, and the difference is this: the distance to the psychotic me. Fortunately, you have this distance, I hope. The other one, the one in the hospital, lost it for a moment and identifies herself completely with the psychotic me of the psyche. Not much, but makes all the difference. Being a human means to have the psychotic me of the psyche. There is no other me. So we are all psychotic without exception. At this point, therefore, I need to correct what I said earlier regarding recovery from the primary psychosis in adolescence. Of course, the term recovering from the primary psychosis is wrong, as long as we have the me of the psyche, and therefore as long as we have a sense of our own personality, individual identity, we remain in psychosis. And whether I have used so far the term getting out of psychosis, it was not about getting out of psychosis because it's impossible, but actually about getting a proper distance from your psychotic me of the psyche. What is the appropriate distance? And let's say it finally, what is about to keep the distance from the psychotic me of our psyche? So this distance is to be maintained by the same psychotic me, nothing else but this psychotic me of the psyche, the fruit of the psychosis of the brain me. In other words, our psyche me must be able to distance itself from itself. This is the whole point of my lectures. Thank you, but that's not the end.